So what's being suggested is that this is heaven already. This is heaven. This is heaven as it is. Heaven only sees wholeness and is blind to separation. So when there's no one, it sees wholeness. So heaven sees heaven. Finally, it's always been this way. But this is always this way. It's never been any other way. This is just appearing as it is. This is heaven as it is. Heaven only sees innocence and is blind to ideas of separation, blind to lack, blind to good or evil. It's blind to holiness. It's blind to sacredness. It is deaf to gossip, praise, worship, prayers, confessions. Heaven only sees wholeness and is oblivious to separation. Welcome to paradise. But paradise is as it is. Paradise is obscured when there's an idea of what it should be and what it could be. It can't hear you. It can't hear language. It's mute to language because it's appearing as everything. Welcome to the gateless gate. But it doesn't see individuals. It doesn't see separation. Therefore, it allows everything. This is unconditional love as it is. But it's oblivious to conditions. It's oblivious to separation. This is as it is, appearing as whatever it is. And this is already home. But there's no one home, but the lights are on. It's always been this way. There's nothing lacking here. There's nothing missing. It's already. Heaven is obscured when there's a why, when there's a what, when there's a when. Paradise is missed when it's longed for, when it wants to get there, because paradise appears as everything. This is already awakeness. This is already enlightened. This is already this. And awakeness does not see levels. It does not see separation. So what's being expressed here is that everything that appears, everything that is seen, everything that is heard, everything that is felt is an illusion. So what is sought for doesn't exist. But what is appearing also doesn't exist. So what is longed for is paradise. What is appearing is paradise. What is longed for is heaven. What is appearing is heaven. As it is. As it is. This is life as it is. So even that feeling of contraction is as it is. There's nothing lacking. It's just very simple. Sitting on a chair, smiling, apparently listening, but there's no separation. It's just this simplicity and this obviousness. And it's heaven without definition. It's paradise without confusion. It's just this clarity. It's already clear. What is sought for is infinity, and what's appearing is infinity. What is longed for is eternity, and this is eternity. But whatever is seen as time is timelessness. Whatever is felt as contraction is this openness. What is felt as suffering is aliveness. It's appearing as whatever it is. And this is not a avoidance. This is the full radical acceptance of whatever is appearing. And there's nothing missing. And all that there is thisness, and there's is none of your business. This is this is completion. This is perfection. And this perfection is blind to imperfection. So welcome to paradise, and any question that you have is appearing in paradise. Whatever confusion that you have is appearing in paradise. Seemingly it's obscured by words, by definitions, by labels. But when the labels are all off, when it's seen that there's no one here, that everything that's longed for suddenly appears because it was never gone. It was never lost. Paradise was never lost. No one ever left because no one can leave because there's no one here. So if you have any questions, just having fun. Thank you so much. Are we in heaven now? No, no one is in heaven. That's what's being expressed. No one is in heaven. Otherwise, it would not be heaven. Hi, Emerson. That was so blissful. Can you start every meeting with that? I can also say that this is hell. They're just words. They're just word in trying to express what is obvious already. What is sought for already is appearing as everything. What is longed for is here. But there's a narrative of what should be this and what should be that. And that's the illusion, that's the dream. And there's nothing wrong or right about that. Everything is allowed. But seemingly that's what veils what's being expressed here. What's being expressed here is this completeness, this wholeness, this radical, stunning clarity that there's never been anyone. King goes, death is the ultimate relaxation. There's no death. If you're thinking about physical death, there's no death because there's no physical. Physical and immaterial is appearing as an illusion as well. You can also say that this is death when there's no one, when it seems that there's this absence. In the story, usually, when a speaker talks about this apparent obviousness, there's usually a death in the story of that one that believes that something's going on here. There's usually an absence of the seeker that was once there. And it's seen that there is no once, and there's no before, and there's no after. So it sees clearly that this is just the infinity, appearing as these segmented moments called life. In this appearance of time, of the past, the present, and the future. So it's just seen as this wholeness, this all at onceness that doesn't have any breaks, that doesn't have any beginnings, and it doesn't ever end. But it's the ordinariness, right? There's usually what happens is when this talk is being talked about, the infinity, the eternity, the timelessness, the emptiness, the nothingness, the obscuring usually comes in trying to understand what is emptiness, what is nothing, what is this. The moment that there's an identification or a labeling, or even just this idea of what it is, the veil of separation, or the dance of separation, dances around what's already obvious. It dances as ideas of, how could this be it? There must be something better than this. How come I feel this way? How come? How it should be this way. So that dance of these thoughts, ideas, sensations, feelings, perceptions, imaginations, definitions, labels, is the expression of infinity expressing as whatever. Since there's no separation, there's no duality, everything that's coming out as separate is already whole. When there is no one, there's this relaxation because there's no more neurosis. When it's seen beyond time, or, it doesn't appear in time, it doesn't appear in a location. When it's seen that there's just this collapse, and no one collapsed, the ideas, which are illusory, the beliefs, which are illusory, goes down the drain. So these ideas of me getting somewhere, getting anywhere, understanding something, is drained. It just collapses. It just becomes this undeniable obviousness that there has never been anyone here, and there's just this appearance of this separation, but appearing to no one. Follow-up question, is it the end of problems? It's the end of the one that has problems. So taxes might still happen, bills might still happen, but it's not appearing for anyone, so it pays it or not. Or even, let's go a bit further, if it doesn't pay, it goes to jail, but no one is in jail. Everything is heaven. Everything is heaven. But not your idea of heaven. Everything is dead. You can also say that, but not what your idea of dead is. There's just this eternal emptiness that's appearing for no one. In this eternal emptiness, this infinite emptiness, there's no one that knows it, because there's no one in it. There's no identification, because identification is, if somebody says that I am emptiness, then it becomes an understanding. It becomes an obscuring of what is already obvious. It becomes a personalization. It becomes a dream of attainment, a dream of something. But since this is chaos, this is chaotic, this is this anarchy appearing as this emptiness, appearing, it's the same thing. Emptiness appearing as anarchy or chaos or wildness. It just is as it is. Someone said earlier, I did not read that earlier, I will never understand this message. Yes, it cannot be understood because there's no one. So who's going to understand this? So there's this seemingly kind of like, almost like a reverse of understanding. There's this idea that if I understand it, I will get it. If I attain this. But what's being expressed here is that there's no one to understand this. And it's really just that simple. It doesn't even need understanding because it's appearing as everything. So heaven is appearing as a garbage truck, the stench of it. Heaven is appearing as a banana peel that you step on and you fall. Heaven is appearing as perhaps like a broken back. But no one's that kind of heaven. That's why that this heaven, there's no one in it. It's heaven appearing as a paradise, appearing as whatever it is. Since this is an illusion and nothing is happening, this is fantasy. This is wonderland. But it doesn't know good or evil. It doesn't recognize separation. It's paradise appearing to paradise. It's heaven appearing to heaven. It's just this. Very simple. Hey Emerson, does this appear like heaven to you? What's being expressed is that there's nothing outside of heaven, nothing inside of heaven. It's all heaven. And there's no one in it. Do you have to die to go to heaven? There's no one to die. So that's what's being expressed here, that this is already it. By heaven, do you mean unconditional love? Yes. Everything is synonymous. Everything is synonymous, right? Heaven is unconditional love. Everything is nothing. Emptiness is fullness. Oh, sorry, I'll open up the chat to everyone. Sorry about that. Can you talk about time? Sure. There is no time. There's an appearance of time appearing. There's an appearance of before and after. There's an appearance of it's 5:22 p.m. here in Toronto. But what's being expressed here is that since there's no separation, when there's a collapse or a disappearance or a death of someone that was never there, everything that it perceives, including time, separation, others, is seen as unreal. But it's appearing as real. So for example, for this meeting, this character went on at 5 o'clock. It's not going to say there's no time. It doesn't really matter. It's a dream. In this dream, there's an appearance of this continuous time. That there's a past, there's a present, and there's a future. But what's being expressed here, that this is already timelessness. Let me put an example of timelessness. For example, when there is a deep sleep, there's no time. Even in a dream, time seems really wonky. Sometimes I would dream, in the past, that I would dream like a whole, kind of like almost like a whole month in a dream. or seemingly different times and everything. It's wonky. It's an illusion. It's the idea of separation. And in the story, in the apparent illusory history of time, time started. So it's not real. Time started apparently when there was harvest time, and they have time looking at the moons or whatever, and the sun. And then I think time became really popular when they started having grandfather clocks and wristwatches. So time is an illusion. There's this persistent illusion that someone is moving through time and space, like a dream, that there's a beginning and an end. But when it's seen that there's just this dream happening with no dreamers on it, the timekeepers of the dream, including this dream, when there's no timekeeper, what is time? Or sometimes, this is just another example. Sometimes when there's an apparent doing of something that you love, for me, it's playing music, DJing, playing the piano. There's no time. It's just happening. This is just the happening. And it's not even a happening. This is just blackout. In this blackout, or in this deep sleep, there's an appearance of movement. There's an appearance of talking. There's an appearance of hearing. But it's really not happening. Scientifically, and this is just another story, this is just 99% emptiness. This is silence speaking sound, silence appearing as sound coming out. But this is all silence. It's just an apparition. It's a mirage. But for no one. It's a dream. So it's a dream of separation, that somehow you are separate from heaven. There's a dream of separation that somehow you got kicked out of paradise. And in this dream of separation, there's this circular, cyclical hell of suffering, of how I lost this and how I must regain it. But since it's just a dream, it's like a nightmare. When it's seen, oh, you know what? I had a dream that there was this Emerson guy that was a spiritual teacher that failed miserably at it, got canceled, was good, was bad, was ugly sometimes, but he never existed at all. And apparently there's this dream of this character speaking about nothing, kind of like going to the fourth wall. I don't know if you know about the fourth wall in a movie, saying that there's no one there. This is a dream. There's nothing happening. So that's what's being expressed. Hey, Vera.
Hi, Emerson.
How are you?
I'm good. I just went swimming.
So nice.
So I feel good in my make-believe body. But, in every dream, we can also say there's always a dreamer. Every
Apparently
nightmare, there's always a nightmare thinker.
Yeah, there's this dream of separation, right? For the dream of separation, there's this seeming separateness. So there's a dreaming, but there's really no dreamer, because when there's an apparent collapse of the dream, or sometimes when you wake up, there's just absence. There's just complete nothing. And then the dream starts again, saying that, oh, I had that dream that I was having a nightmare. It doesn't know that it's still in a dream.
Well, there could be still a dreamer. I mean, I see your point, but I also there could be a cosmic dreamer, a big cosmic, expanded, has no boundaries, boundless dreamer.
But that's just another dream idea, right? So everything that appears in a dream, including this dream, is just an idea.
Well, yeah, but somebody's dreaming it. So this boundless.
Let's just say that there's
this crazy dreamer.
Oh, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. That there's just boundless, this dreaming in boundaries. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the boundless dreamer. it's dreaming everything and
I don't want to use
anything and
the dreamer because it kind of like automatically becomes kind of like somebody, you know what I'm saying, or something. So this
well,
is,
there's only one thing. You could always say too, the
yeah.
oneness. There's only one thing.
There's not even a one thing.
Oh, okay, no one thing. But let's
Yeah.
say if you want to accept one thing, you have the one dreamer,
just
and
it's
that's the
just a,
oneness.
it's just simplify. It's just dreaming. Dreaming. It doesn't stop. This is just eternity or
Mm,
infiniteness. Infinity dreaming. Let's just say that. But I understand what you're saying.
Good, you
Yeah.
could, but I'm just
Yeah,
giving
yeah.
the other side of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That
I'm just being a cheeky dreaming here.
so yeah, it's uh it's a big dream by some big cosmic power. Why? Who knows?
No one knows. No one
It's a
knows.
mystery. Many mysteries.
It is. It is. It is this mystery, and no one can figure it out because everyone that's in it is a dream.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So what?
So what? So what?
So what? Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
Emerson,
you. Thank you, Vera.
and everybody here.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, yeah, it's great.
All the players.
Yeah. Show me the pool.
Oh, it's actually a lake.
Oh, it's a lake. Oh, better.
Hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, I just walked from it
Okay, okay, okay. You're not in it now.
about a
Okay.
block away, so I'm at my place now. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it
Nice.
felt good.
Awesome.
It's so hot. It's very hot.
It
So then
is.
I can cool off in it. That's where I cool off.
That's
No,
nice.
yeah, totally relaxed now. No heat.
Nice.
Yeah.
Whereabouts are you, Vera?
Pennsylvania, northeastern
Oh,
PA.
you're close by.
Oh yeah, not too far.
Yeah.
And Laurel Lake. It's called
Nice.
Laurel, northeastern PA.
Nice. Beautiful.
Yeah, my kids want to move to Rochester. That'd be closer to you.
Yeah.
Rochester.
We used to go there a lot when we
Yeah,
were younger.
They have Lake
Yeah.
Ontario,
Yeah.
and I went there recently. It's like a beach. It's
Yes.
amazing. It looks like an ocean,
Yes.
right? It has a beach and everything. You can't tell.
It's massive. Lake
It's
Ontario
massive.
is massive. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels
Yeah.
like an ocean. Yeah,
Yeah.
very nice. Has this long boardwalk. I guess Hamlin Beach or whatever they call it.
I'm not sure. But all I know is Lake Ontario.
And Lake Ontario. Yeah. And yeah, so my kids want to move there. I have two
Nice.
daughters, two granddaughters. They're thinking of it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, they like the beach.
You should come visit.
Hmm?
Come visit. Say hi.
Oh yeah, yeah. Then if
Yeah.
we're over there, Toronto's not too far, maybe.
Yeah.
What do you? Couple hours.
Yeah, my cousin and I used to go to Buffalo when I was like a teenager
Oh,
to get booze.
oh. Yeah. What kind of booze did you get? What was your
I'm
thing?
not sure. I was just an accomplice, right? And I was
Oh,
just there to be with me. He used to drive an IROC, and he would hide the booze, in his car. But we didn't know that the duty free shops had cameras.
oh well.
So when we were
Did you get?
crossing the border, they would be asking, "Are you sure you did not buy anything?" We're like, "Yeah."
Oh, did they get you? Did they bust you or what?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You
We
did?
paid. We paid. Double the taxes or something.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. But I was a teenager, so I was just an accomplice.
You were an accomplice, so you were too young for them to do more to you.
That's
Right.
right.
So how do we call this even unconditional love if everything's a story? How do you even call it
Um,
unconditional love?
there's just this apparent happening that's
Mm,
not really happening. There's this conditional appearance and this unconditional unknowingness. So this is unknown, right? So this is like love that can't help loving itself unconditionally. So
mm,
whatever appears, it could be evil, it could be whole, whatever appears,
yeah.
it unconditionally loves itself because it doesn't see it separate from anything. So love
So then,
loving itself unconditionally.
so those of us who, for some reason, realize that, then we can be pretty relaxed about everything.
Yeah. Well,
You
there's no
know?
one. Yeah, it's just relaxation. It's just, okay, this is just what's happening. This is just an appearance. This is just love appearing as war, appearing as separation, appearing as inflation, appearing as whatever, appearing as my dog, appearing as a lake, appearing as leaves, appearing as gas, appearing as headaches, appearing as whatever, appearing as thoughts. Whatever appears is unconditional. Yeah, it is. It is. So there's this
endless appearances.
Endless appearance. Yeah, it's infinite. It's infinity, right? So it's appearing infinitely as everything. Yeah, there's many names to it, but it's nameless, right? It's nameless, and it's really unknowable, and it's obvious though. It's the air that you breathe. It's the blinking in your eye. It's the talking. It's the smiling. It's the sounds. It's the stench. It's the floral. It's everything. Nothing is separate from it, and it's just this wow. And it's ordinary. It's the waking up in the morning and saying that I need coffee. That's unconditional love.
Everything, yeah, it's
everything,
endless.
Yeah. It's this endless. That's why it's paradise that I was talking about. That's heaven, right? It's heaven is appearing as whatever.
Right. So so it's hard to imagine that it has no creator or.
See, that's when there's stuckness happening, is because when there's this idea of separation, it obscures it. Because it appears as everything.
I know, but can you be not obscured and accept it all as everything? I'm not obscured. Everything, it's all everything.
It's all everything, yeah. But there's when I was in spirituality, when I thought that there was a source or a creator or something, then it separates it. It's an idea of separation.
You felt something separate. Well, that was what you had to overcome.
Not really. It was not.
You felt a separation if there's a creator.
There was always there was this bliss, kind of like I am wholeness now, but when I did not feel, you know what I'm saying, well, for example, there's a tragedy or drama in the family or that kind of thing, it did not see it as that, because it had an idea of what is superior or what is higher. So it sees as the source as a higher version. So that was the obscurity.
That's where your correction can be.
That's right.
See, source is not higher or lower.
That's right. Yeah, that's when it's seen. When there is no one, it doesn't have any higher or lower. It's just everything. There's no one saying that this is better or this is worse. It's just what is.
That's the challenge, to be able to not see better or any judgment, and then it's just oneness.
Exactly, because it appears as judgment as well.
Right, and all of it is part of it.
All of it is it, yeah.
All of it is it.
Not just a part, it's it.
It's it, yeah.
It's it, yeah. There's no separation whatsoever.
Yeah, so
yeah.
There's something that has no separation.
Yeah.
At all.
That's right.
Whatever
it is. Isn't it
here's
beautiful?
Here's my special pink lily. If you could see it, can you see it?
Oh, beautiful.
That just bloomed today.
Beautiful.
And it has a beautiful aroma too.
Oh yeah, I can smell it.
You have a good sense of smell, besides a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. We're all great.
Thank you so much, Vera. Love, much love. I don't know, I can't hear you anymore, but thank you. Fred goes, earlier you were talking about no soul, but many people are able to have out-of-body experiences and apparently travel the planet and the universe regarding times. These people report that many hours can pass during the OBE, but only a few minutes has passed when they return to their bodies. Any comment? Thank you. Yes. So any experience of the illusion, any kind of near-death experiences, is just a dream. It's still in the dream. It's not out of the dream, even because no one can get out of the dream because there's no one. an illusion can get out of the illusion. So the out of body experience is just an illusion of someone that has this illusion that they're separate, that they're traveling or whatever. It's beautiful, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to. Everything that appears is just an appearance, including that. And there's nothing wrong or right about that. I'm not trying to diminish it. It's just seeing that everything that appears is an illusion. Hey, Cheryl. Thank you, Fred. If you want to add to that later, please go ahead. You can also ask a question. Hi, Cheryl.
Hi.
Oh, nice to see you now. Now I can see you. Hi.
I was just thinking if you got really sick, like had some, I don't know, awful thing where you're suffering terribly.
Oh, yeah.
Then
definitely, yeah.
it's pretty hard to say that is an illusion.
Oh, yeah, totally. It feels absolutely real. But when it's seen that there's just this pain, you know what I'm saying? Paining by itself.
Mm-hmm.
When there's this apparent, there was time, this was just a couple of months ago, I could not eat for like 7 days. There was this an apparent deepening for no one. And there was just this, it's almost like the fight and flight response was not in the body anymore because it was just in love with everything. So there was just this, it could not intake anything anymore. There was pain, of course, there was this paining, but there's no story about it anymore. There was just an acceptance of everything that was happening. There was just this radical acceptance of it. It's not going to say that, it still took the medicine, you know what I'm saying? It still went to see a doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's just what's happening.
Hmm.
But there's no one that's creating a dramatic story of, oh, why I'm only this young, or why am I going through this? That kind of narrative seems to make it more intense, right? So when pain is happening, sleep happens at night too, and it all disappears. Waking up happens in the morning, and it comes back apparently, just like whatever is happening. But it's seen that it's not permanent. So when there's someone there, there's this why me, woe me, permanence kind of thing, and it doesn't see outside of that, right? And it kind of like almost and this is just a story as well. It almost magnifies it.
Saying poor me, like
poor me, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I remember getting sick before, and that would make everyone miserable around me.
Yeah.
This one, there was just this radical acceptance that this is just what's happening. The body can't seem to take any liquid, it can't seem to take any solids, and it's just what's happening. It was quite painful. I lost a bunch of weight, you know what I'm saying? There was a funny story because when my dad said you have to go to the hospital, I'm like, all right, no problem. Went over there, and basically there was just this aliveness in everything. That they thought it was a psychological thing, because there was just like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's just, it was not taken as like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what I did. There was pain, but pain is paining by itself, and there's no narrator to the pain. There's no mini series to the drama, right? It's just this episode.
So it's kind of like you can't worry.
No, yeah. Who's worrying? Or worry might come. Worry might come and might say that I might, but it's like this is like a Teflon pan now, right? It doesn't stick anymore. So anything that arises disappears, and it doesn't see time anymore. It's just this. It doesn't see an end or a beginning. It just sees this as a happening. Does that make any sense? It doesn't.
No,
there's
I mean, it does.
There's no identification anymore to it.
Yeah.
There's no more, there's no more kind of like going to Facebook, and that could happen too. But in this character, there's no more going to Facebook that I was sick and all that kind of stuff. If it's asked, it will talk about it, but it doesn't have this. It doesn't have. It's not the identity anymore. It's not personal. Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I can understand it theoretically.
Yeah.
But when I get sick, I had a gallbladder attack, and it was terrible. And then I was in the hospital, and
I'm
they
not
didn't.
saying it's less terrible. It's still terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still terrible. It's not like diminishes the pain, but the pain is just by itself. So sometimes it's more intense because it's not, it's just what it is. Sorry, go ahead, Shay.
Sometimes it's more intense because
Oh
it's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
because
It's just
you're
no
just looking
filters.
at it.
It's
There's no
there's no
filter.
filters. Yeah.
Okay.
I had this. I've talked about this a million times, and people probably. I caught my fingers in a garage door,
Oh.
and that was quite painful. And then at
Oh.
one moment, I'm like, oh, I might have to cut the fingers off, right? Because it turned black and blue right away.
Mm.
And this character sat down, and there was just this throbbing pain, but it was also very euphoric.
Oh my
Because
God.
it was just this
How
pain.
so?
And I started, I don't know, but there's just this endorphins, all of this stuff, right? It's kind of like this energetic thing that there's just this pain, and there was just this bewilderment. It's not avoiding it, it's just seeing it as it is. It's like, oh wow. And then I started laughing, and I'm like, and I had this joke that come up, this character's joke. I'm like, this is why S&M people like pain. There's a euphoria to it. And that's just a story as well. But it's just seeing that nothing is serious anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see how that could happen. I went outside on the break and I just thought, oh wow, I carry things heavy.
Yeah.
And wouldn't it be great to
Well, it's already, you're not
be like
carrying
that?
anything anymore because there's no one carrying it. The way that I also explained this, it's kind of like all my life in spirituality, I was carrying these heavy rocks in my backpack. And all of a sudden, there was no backpack. There's just this lightness. There's just this, there's no more attachment to whatever was being maintained. Maintaining the story, maintaining the practice, maintaining my mantras, maintaining everything, maintaining this facade, this image. All of a sudden, the character is free. It doesn't give a care anymore. And it cares really deeply at the same time.
And it cares really deeply at the same time.
That's right. Yeah, it's in love more. Like I with my mom, there's no more stories, so I can love her as it is. There's no stories about the past or I just see my dad as it is. I don't see him as a lack or anything like that. I just see him as it is.
Okay.
This amazing, beautiful character appearing in a dream. That in the dream is my father or my mom, and it's just loved unconditionally. Sometimes really funnily too, because there's the scene that there's no one there, but it doesn't tell them.
That would probably freak them out a little.
Oh yeah. My dad was my dad was he saw this. He goes, oh, there's this. He was kind of like really curious about what I'm doing, so he encountered my talk with Tony Parsons. We have this conversation, and then I was hearing Tony and my voice, and I ran to the phone, and he was looking at the phone, and I said, oh no, Dad, that's all right. I said, this goes against all of your belief systems and all of your values. So he stopped it, no questions asked.
You saved him.
There's just this seeing that this character, probably his son, is free finally, right? It doesn't have any drama anymore. It doesn't have this narrative of poor me or striving to be a better me, or trying to achieve, or trying to this restless seeker that is always, they used it to say that this character used to be cannot really stay in one spot, because it was always seeking something. It was like it would go to this place and that place and be that and be there. And even when it's in spirituality, it was just this restless. It was always still seeking something better. How do I get to the ultimate? How do I get to the pinnacle? How do I get to the ultimate enlightenment? So there was always a lack.
And how do I stay there?
And how do I stay there? And when I get there, I get comfortable, and then I lose it and I freak out. And I go on my old ways the character goes into, it's like, well, I might as well, go partying or something. And there's this dualistic character that just was just all over the place, like almost schizophrenic, right? It was just this, or Jekyll and Hyde, and sometimes there's this really holy being, and then sometimes there's this rude party animal. There's nothing wrong or right about that. It's just an appearance of this character. But it was hell-bent on being a character that was seen as a better character. Does that make any sense? Like as an evolved character. There's no one evolved. So it was very in the apparent dream, it was very nightmarish. Trying to maintain that. It's kind of like, I think when I was getting explained hell to me as a kid in the story, there was no kid. It's when it's this and that, you know what I'm saying? It's the duality of it. That's what I remember from it. The cold, freezing cold, and then being burnt in the fires, and then all of this back and forth. So all of that was believed. All of that duality was my heavy rocks. The discontentment and the seeking and the lack, not seeing completeness, seeing separation all the time, or comparison. That was the worst, was comparing.
Yeah. I can definitely relate.
Comparing is the thief of joy. You know what I'm saying? It's just this. It would get to a place, and then someone would be better.
Yeah.
or this apparent character doesn't care anymore. It's just it's just a carefree apparent existence, and there's no one in this existence. It's just this random play of wildness and aliveness appearing and disappearing. It appears talking, and it disappears at night in deep sleep. But there's no one there. It's just an appearance.
But okay, for that to happen, though, that some change had to have happened from you to go from one striving being to realizing there's no one here. What happened?
Nothing happened, actually. That's the silliest thing that I thought that would happen was there's going to be a an elevated kind of like persona or something. What's seen that everything's kind of like when you're dreaming at night, and then you wake up all of a sudden, and then you were dreaming up this character. None of that happened. So that character doesn't exist. So it's seen as a dream. So I can talk to you about a dream of the story of this character that was really suffering, but that character, just like a dream, vanished. So it doesn't even have a history, really, because it was just a dream. It's hard to explain, but nothing really changes, and everything changes at the same time.
That something must have propelled that.
Yeah, there's this.
Was that a sudden?
It was a collapse. Yeah, it was a collapse. It was not gradual. Yeah, there was a lot of glimpses prior to this. There was this apparent great awakening about 12 years ago, and it became a teacher. And then many glimpses, and then it was just chasing the glimpse. That's what it was. It was chasing. It was addicted to the glimpse, and all of a sudden, it was just looking for this liberation that's appearing as everything. So it was looking for it in practices. It was looking for it in knowledge. It was looking for it in understanding. It was looking for it in all the wrong places, because there's no place that it is not. It's appearing as in everywhere, in everything. Kind of like what I was talking to Vera earlier. It's the stench of the garbage truck. It's the smell of the beautiful lily. It's in everything. It's that feeling of contraction. It's the feeling of gas in your stomach when you've eaten a lot of pop or something. I don't know. It's all of that. It's all of that. It's the in love. It's the breaking the heart. You know what I'm saying? It's in everything. It's in the poop that you step on.
Mm.
It's the cursing at your dog that made that poop. It's in everything.
Mm.
It's in the disgust. It's in the elation. It's in everything.
And what is it that's in it? I mean,
And whatever it is, unconditionally loving itself. That's everything. It's really nothing and everything appearing simultaneously.
Mm. Mm.
Hmm.
I feel like I'm at that stage that you were talking about where I've had glimpses, so then I chase after them.
Yeah,
And that is just
I was just talking to
doesn't
my
work.
yeah, I was just talking to my friend. I'm actually going to see him after. A friend of mine that has no background in spirituality, has
Mm-hmm.
no background in religion even. We went to high school in a Catholic high school, but there was always a disbelief. So this person doesn't have any background and apparently had an apparent falling away for no reason at all. It was uncaused. We were just having a couple of beers and it fell away. He was just asking what non-duality is. There's nothing that I did here. So it's not caused by anything because there was no practices. There was no knowledge of it. He doesn't even know what non-duality is. He doesn't even know what spirituality is. Was just really curious, really, really curious to see what I was up to. And I basically said, "Well, there's nothing that you don't want to hear it." He goes, "No, no, no, no. I'm really interested." And to make a long story short, we were talking earlier, and he said he was just he's just amazed at this emptiness, amazed by it. There's just this enjoyment and there's no understanding it. He doesn't know what it is because there's no one there. So sometimes we go for walks and I'm like, oh my goodness, look at that bug. And then we look at the bug for 10 minutes. It's just what is. And there's no one hanging out. It's just hanging out happening. So it's not cause and effect. Because cause and effect is time. This doesn't appear in time. It's the absence of time. But try to think of that. You can't. Because thinking happens in time.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Where all we are is concepts.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
It's an illusion in an illusory time-based illusion about separation. So everything that it does think is an illusion in time. So when time is seen as not really existing, how could you exist?
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll have to think about that one. Or not.
See, that's what I mean. When you think in time, that's just thinking in illusion. So anything that you think about is an illusion. The illusion can't get out of the illusion because all it can ever function as is as an illusion. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Keep those questions coming. They're great. Apparently.
Thank you.
Oh, hi, Julia.
Hello.
Hello,
Emerson.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm very relaxed and I ate so much chocolate, so I'm feeling a bit sick from all the chocolate. Oh, but yeah, I don't know. It's so beautiful and like what's been said like during this session and the one before. It's just so beautiful. I love listening to it.
Thank you. It's really nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, and yet it's like, wow, it's just beautiful, you know?
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
It's just really empty. It's just all this, all the words that are being expressed here, and all the words are really empty. And
yeah,
emptiness is just seeing its own emptiness. And there's this emptiness disappearing as this.
yeah. It's amazing. And I just want to share something. Like, for example, before, like, this character, like, it has always been very like dramatic and a lot
Yeah.
of anxiety and all of this stuff. And yesterday, it was revealed to me that in 1 week I need to leave this apartment. So I will be homeless in 1 week.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh my God. And I was crying for like 10 minutes. It was just so
Yeah,
much
yeah, yeah. Of
emotions,
course. Yeah, yeah.
very dramatic. And then I just started to laugh so much,
Yeah.
because it just happened by itself. And then I just laughed at everything that was
Yeah.
happening, the drama, the belief in it, and just like the madness of it. And
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. This is
And
just a
now it's
story.
like
This is a
nothing.
story, but I
Yeah,
remember I was crying, and then there's this seeing that there's no one crying. So I started laughing. I'm like, "No, it's crying." And then laughing, I'm like, "No one's laughing." And crying and laughing and crying and laughing. It's just madness.
yeah. And it's like, I don't know, when the storm passed, it was so obvious that like it's like now it's like it didn't happen, And
Yeah.
there's no thoughts about this, that it
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah. You're still going to
Yeah.
get kicked out, but it's okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's super fun. Like, I'm having a great time eating
Yeah.
chocolate and just chilling here.
Yeah, there's nothing that you can do to change anything because you can't undo or do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And it's also like nobody caused this. Like, it didn't happen
no,
for a reason. So there's no
no.
one and nothing to blame.
That's right. That's right. It's almost like every single apparent illusory moment is forgiven because it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's just this kind of like, and then it's not an avoidance of it. So there's this crying, kind of like, oh wow, all this wow, all this tears, kind of like a cartoon, like with the tears coming out. And then when it's seen that's just what's happening, is just like, what are these, warm liquids coming out of these apparent eyes?
Yeah.
And it's just a happening. It's full. It's full. It's
Yeah.
full on crying. It's full on laughing. It's not like, why I should not be crying. It's none of that. Did you cry more?
Yeah. Like, before I would be like, oh, I need to meditate this away now, or like try to be fine with this.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, boom, it hit me like a bomb, emotions.
Yeah, yeah. And it's I used to do this mantra, you know what I'm saying? And I would just kind of like, whatever it was, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Like, I will do it like 108 times, and if I missed one, I'll repeat it again. I'm like, okay, it's just this superstitious, fantastical, character living in a fantastical, illusory situation, because there's no situations. It's just this appearance of everything that's happening, in segmented, but it's all happening this way all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just relaxed, right? There's just this, even the crying, there's this underlying, this is just a story, underlying peacefulness in it. It's kind of like a dream, right? In a dream, when there's lucidity, that whatever is happening is also not serious, even if it is serious.
Yeah. Exactly.
There's a whatever in it.
Exactly. It's like, okay, yeah. I don't even remember how it is to have, that it sticks to you, and it's like this whole thing going on for like
Yeah.
days.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, there's no memory of like how that was or used to be,
Oh yeah, yeah, and that was quite the suffering there, right? When you're
Yeah.
really stuck in your bed for days, right? For
Yeah.
days. I used to not be able to function, right? And I would just avoid everything.
Mm.
And then I would get into, I'm like, okay, what are the other ways to avoid this? So it was
Yeah.
avoiding what was happening, and then it was suffering because it was avoiding what was going to happen anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Really.
Yeah.
And it's just so lovely to just like, yeah, nobody's doing it, but just it's just letting go and just
Yeah.
you know, whatever is, it's what it is. And I don't know, no rules, you know, like for example, maybe like I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go for a walk around the lake, it's lovely weather.
Yeah.
And then I saw this beautiful bench in the sun, and I just laid on the bench chilling instead for like an hour, like half sleeping. And before I would have like such a problem with that, you know, because first of all, you cannot lay on a bench sleeping like a lazy person, you know, but it's just so lovely just chilling around, you know.
What would people think? Oh, what if someone sees me laying on a bench? You know, what would they think of me?
Oh my God, yeah, that was so exhausting. I was so self-conscious before. Like everything was embarrassing for me, and it was very like neurotic. And and now it's like,
it's like a child again, right? You're childlike again. Although there's no one, there's just this childlikeness in what's appearing, and there's no seriousness. And it's like, I always share this story that I put on my headphones and I would sing out loud walking, because there's no one there anyway. So there's just this,
lovely.
and I'm just singing this song. Sometimes, you know, when I go downstairs and I see the mirror, I dance, you know, a little bit, and it doesn't matter if someone catches me dancing because it's just what is, right? It's just this appearance. Or I used to be afraid to cry, right? So when there's this YouTube videos that I would watch, or TikTok of someone helping someone, there's this tears that just flows. Yeah. It's not like, oh yeah, you know, let me change that. That's too much, you know, tearjerker stuff. It's just what is.
Yes.
It's life without a pilot.
Yeah.
It's on autopilot. Sorry, life on autopilot. It's just appearing as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, lying on a bench, no care in the world. Eating
like
chocolate until your stomach hurts.
Or like putting on reggaeton and like dance like crazy. Like, who cares?
Oh, I like reggaeton.
Know? Yeah, me too. I love it.
Yeah. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. That's what I was trying to express earlier, that it's heaven when there's no one there.
Yeah.
It's always heaven because there's always no one there. But there's this persistent illusion that there's someone there. So when it's seen that there's persistent illusion, it's just a see-through illusion. It's like, who are you pretending? There's no one there.
Oh, I love it. And also, like one thing that's happening too, it seems like this personal love is happening now. Like apparently I met someone.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh my God, it was so horrible at first because I was like, no, it's another story. Like I'm stuck.
Oh yeah.
The whole thing just came for this. But it's just so beautiful because it's just something that's happening, and it's like very obvious that there's nobody in that person, so to speak, and there's no one here.
So when there's no one anymore, the story stops.
Yeah.
It's just happening. Although everything is still a story, there's no more investment in the story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful because it's like it's no drama and there's no hope. Nothing. Yeah. It's just something that's going on. It's very innocent and childish.
It is. When I was a spiritual, you know, teacher and seeker, when I used to believe that I have a soul, that was the biggest burden because, you know, the soulmate thing. Oh, I really, really believed in that soulmate thing, and it was just it was lovely, but it was suffering at the end because it was holding on to something that has obviously ended. You know what I'm saying? And and the other person was holding on to it. So this is this back and forth of, because there is this idea that this is the soulmate.
Yeah.
So it believed
Oh,
in a
it's so
story.
exhausting. Yeah.
It was so exhausting. It was so exhausting. Right now, there's just this in loveness, right? For no one
Yeah.
though, there's just this unconditional love, in love with it, with itself,
Yeah.
and everything that it appears is itself. It's unconditional love. I'm happy that you have this apparent empty relationship.
Funny, you know? And
You were
know,
looking
when
for no one, you found no one.
I made it. Oh, also, like, it's funny because my mom, she was asking me about this guy, and she was like, you don't like, you
Does
seem
he like
in love.
reggaeton?
Exactly, because she was like, do you relate? How is he? And like, how do you feel? I was like, yeah, it's really nice, it's chill. And she didn't feel like, it wasn't this like passionate, like, yeah, I found the one and we will have kids. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah, it works
Yeah.
now. If it doesn't work later, what? Doesn't matter. It feels
Yeah.
nice, you know?
Yeah, when the story ends, right? The story is just unfolding and there's no more storyteller.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's this narrator of a story that's already going on. It's an illusion already. It's nothing really happening. And then when the character kind of like steps in and tells, well, this is the one now. So it forces the story. It manipulates the story. But the story is going to go whatever. It's going to be as it
Yeah.
is. And then when it doesn't feel like it's
Exactly.
not the one now, then it gets really stuck in the story.
Mm.
And then
Yeah.
the story just cycles. Oh, it should be this way. It should end this way. And it goes to the past. And it's just flipping books back and forth. It doesn't know that it's fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's like all this fear, like you say, if it doesn't follow the story that you have in your head, there's so much fear, like, oh
Oh,
no,
yeah.
it like, what if this doesn't work out, and blah blah
Oh,
blah blah
yeah,
blah,
yeah.
you know?
Instead of
So when that,
seeing heaven
yeah,
appearing as this
yeah,
apparent guy that perhaps likes reggaeton, it
yeah, yeah, I
sees
loved
this
it, I loved it.
obscured fantasy, and it becomes a nightmare
Mm,
because it tries to control the narrative.
mm. Exactly. And that's when, I don't know, it's just horrible. And in relationships before, I was always like also afraid of missing out of something better all the
Oh, the
time.
FOMO.
Yeah, the fucking FOMO.
Yeah.
It's so lovely that it's no more FOMO. Oh my God.
Yes. Yes. There was this definitely fear of missing out for quite a while, saying in the seeking. And I would it was almost really, really funny because, I would flip back and forth to many different teachers, fear that I would miss out on something. And I would just go back and forth. And then what's being expressed here, and this is probably not good for this speaker, is that it doesn't belong to a speaker. There's no speaker here. There's no one here. No one can give you anything.
Yeah. What is FOMO? Yeah.
It was invested in this. Oh, FOMO, Anita, is fear of missing out. So it's afraid that it's missing something. So I would go back and forth to all of these teachings and everything, and go back into them like, maybe it's or this is the funniest thing. Not only I was spiritual, but I also prayed to all of the different deities like God, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, everything.
Yeah, me too.
Because
Me too.
thinking that, what if I'm missing?
Oh my God, yeah. And like trying all the mantras and doing it all, because maybe there's some, like you said, something you missed.
Something that I missed. I was doing my Course in Miracles. I was doing my consciousness, awareness, all of that, right? Because I thought I was missing it. And when all of those heavy drops was seen as just this heavy narratives that is just keeping this character in a circular loop of seeking, and that there was nothing that's missing, that everything is already as it is, then I could sleep in and say, oh my goodness. I used to wake up really early and meditate and do all of these practices. It was just this neurotic character.
Yeah.
Neurotic. I'm doing my mantras. I'm doing my, this is my day 45 in Course in Miracles. And this is all of this kind of stuff. It was just this text and all of this going back and forth. It was just this. And then it kept on encountering this communication that was radical. And I was like, oh, I want to avoid that. I don't want to, because it was the giving up of those stuff. It was the surrendering of all of these practices and everything. That was really the heavy burden, the heavy rocks. That was kind of like because it thought that it meant something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was invested in heavy ideas and whatever that is. There's nothing wrong or right about it, but it's just this. I'd rather not carry rocks that are not there.
Yeah, same here, Emerson, completely. Oh my God.
Yeah. Or the other one was, what did people think about me? That was
Oh my God.
Wasn't that nuts? When there's no one there?
Oh, it's just mind blowing.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because it's like it's only your own projections. Like there's literally no one there, no one in anyone.
Yeah. No one, yeah. It's just absolutely empty. And this emptiness, whatever appears, seems absolutely real. But really, it's just all emptiness. It's just unconditional love loving itself, appearing as this apparent separate individual, appearing as criticism, appearing as nemesis, appearing as whatever.
Yeah.
But it's really nothing.
Yeah.
It's just this aliveness appearing as everything and everyone and every time, and whatever seems to appear is this wildness that's really nothing.
Yeah. And like also, for example, before when I was talking to people, it used to be like, I needed to like control the conversation or talk about important topics, otherwise it was boring. And it's just it's so lovely when there's like, nothing is special, so you can talk about anything with anyone. It doesn't matter. It's the same.
Oh, totally.
And it's just free. It's just free.
Totally. Or doing stuff that you don't want to. I used to do that because, there was just this pleasing others.
Yeah, people
pleasing others and all that kind of stuff, and thinking that this childlikeness here, it actually enjoys playing with my nephew and nieces and tickling and all that kind of stuff, and just this childlike stuff and watching silly stuff on YouTube. There's no more in taking.
Yeah.
Because before I used to kind of like think that my time would be more well spent if I read the scriptures.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah. I love that, it's like whatever you're doing, that's just what's happening. It's not like you feel like, oh, I should do something more important, or like this won't take me anywhere, that would take me somewhere. Like it's just whatever is happening. And that's it.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
It's just this naturalness of this flowing infiniteness that doesn't have any controller anymore.
Yeah.
Because the controller is just an illusion. It's kind of like swimming upstream in a free-flowing river that there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
And that was the heaviness, right? It's trying to do stuff, trying to change things, trying to control things, trying to manipulate things. And there was just this big manipulator in this character trying to be holy, trying to be perfect, trying to please others. It was just all manipulation. And all for what? Nothing.
Yeah, for nothing. Oh, yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you, Emerson.
Thank you for sharing.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Good night, Fred. Fred said he has to go sleep time. How late is it in Europe now? Really late. Okay.
Yeah, it's 20 past midnight in
Oh
Sweden, please.
wow, wow! This
Yeah.
timelessness is late. What time is it there, Susie? In
Hi, Emerson.
Oh, hi, Susie.
It's very reasonable. It's 8:18
That's pretty good
a.m.
actually.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Tomorrow will be better because it's actually an hour later than this time. So
Oh, wow.
yeah. Yeah.
You're the best.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Sometimes I look at Susie and Susie there and sometimes it's kind of like, what time is it over there? Because it's really dark and sometimes there's blankets. Um,
Yeah. Yep.
apparently these. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm awake. I'm alert. I can't believe it. I'm not in my pajamas.
Yeah.
There's
Susie.
light.
There's
What was
light,
that?
yeah.
Oh,
There's
there's light.
light.
Yes.
It's also, yeah. It's always nice to see.
Beautiful.
When here is darkness, there is the light.
It's the same thing actually. Darkness and light are the same.
Yeah.
Hi Emerson, can you talk about the dream that never stops? Yeah, for sure. So for example, there's a dreaming at night that's happening and there's this, wild dream and everything. And in the dream seemingly at night it's not as constructed because there's this apparent relaxedness in the dream, but it's still a dream. So in the dream at night, there's this happening and everything. The moment that the character wakes up, there's this emptiness, there's blank. And then the character comes back and tries to interpret the dream that apparently happened, but there's no time, right? So it doesn't see that it's still dreaming. So even when it wakes up, it doesn't recognize, it doesn't see it, that it's just a continual dream. But there's this seeming emptiness in between of kind of like, oh, that was it. There's this, when someone wakes up in the morning, there's this suspension of all beliefs and all of the knowing. It's just this emptiness. It's always emptiness. And then the character goes, that was a really bad dream, or that was a really great dream, or I have to get coffee and have to take shower. So the dreaming continues, but it's not seen. It thinks it's awake now because it's up, but it just went to another dream. So there's this dreaming that is just this continuous dream, and then there's this deep sleep happening simultaneously. Sometimes there's deep sleep, sometimes it wakes up and it goes, oh, that was a really good, I didn't have any dreams. I felt like I slept for 8 hours, it's only been 3 hours. So there's this deep sleep. So there's this permanence, this deep sleep, which is what is. And there's this appearance of this wildness, this dream of separation, the dream that I was swimming and there were sharks and there was a buffalo and all of this wildness. And then in the morning, it's dreaming that it's talking and doing all of this stuff. It had to go to work. It doesn't see that the dream is just happening simultaneously. It's still happening. So no one goes to sleep and no one wakes up. But in the dream, someone went to bed at night and someone woke up in the morning. And then it doesn't see that during the day, there's no day, and this is just a story, when it's doing something that is wordless or mindless, for example, washing the dishes or doing something, housework, gardening, there's no one there. It's just emptiness. And apparently, when it gets a phone call from its mom or, someone that reminds them that this is reality, it gets really angry and said that, Mom, and it believes in this apparent dream as reality again, and it gets into, and it talks about it. Oh, my mom just called me and this and that, this and that, and it becomes this problem and everything. It goes to sleep. That whole problem disappears. It's emptiness all over again. And then it said, "Oh wow, I really had I really had a really good sleep last night. I was so stressed out because of my mom, and he calls mom again. And the mom goes, "Oh, never mind. It's okay. Everything's fine now." And it's just a story. All of this story that keeps on happening, but it's not really happening because in a dream nothing happens. This is a dream and nothing's happening. Although it feels like this is happening. There's a question: when there is still embarrassment and shyness, is that the me? But there's no me. The embarrassment and shyness are just labels of what's happening. It gets interpreted as my embarrassment or I am shy, but this is just apparent sensations. And this apparent happening, this is just this infinity appearing as this different sensation. Some people call it embarrassment, shyness. I call it stunning. Stunningness, whatever it is. It's like, oh wow, there's this, whatever it is, it's just this apparent wordless appearing as this labeled as embarrassment, shyness. So when it's seen that it's just a story, it's just a story, the same story as the me, embarrassment, shyness, it's just a story appearing in this emptiness. It's a dream. This character used to be really conscious about what others, so when it's singing at the top of its lung, walking, not a care in the world, the apparent shyness or the embarrassment is seen that there's no one that's embarrassed and there's no one to get embarrassed to because there's no one here. It's not a belief. It's just the obviousness that everything that's happening is just happening automatically and there's no time and there's no one controlling it. But everything is allowed. So whenever appears embarrassment, shyness, it's just the happening. And it's not really happening at the same time. Thank you for that question. Can I use that as a testimonial? Thank you. No testimonials needed. Someone said that you're probably the most good-looking speaker. That's the only truth that there is. Just kidding. Just kidding. Someone said, "Hey, Emerson, I just signed up for today. Can I sign up for tomorrow?" Yeah, for sure. Tomorrow's actually going to be in a live location, so there's going to be a lot of wildness and everything and whatever seems to happen. But yeah, for sure, just go to the website or just email me. Thank you.
There is no
I'm not going to mute her. Thank you too. Can you talk about fear? Fear is an illusion. Fear is something that appears in time. Fear is something that appears in this illusory appearance of someone. It's a fear of separation. It's a fear of something that is not really happening. So fear is an illusion because there's this fear of whatever seems to happen, but it's not really happening. So anything can appear though. Everything is allowed, right? So fear might appear or whatever. But it's seen that fear is actually not real. Because there's nothing to fear, and fear is nothing. If you would like to elaborate more on that, Kane, you can. Well, thank you so much, everyone. This has been swell. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. It's going to be epically nothing. It's going to be this. There's going to be 3 sessions tomorrow. There's 3 90-minute sessions, and it starts at I think 1 o'clock. I can't really remember. Check your schedule. If you have any questions, just email me. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye. There's
Thanks,
a breakout
Emerson.
room. Bye. Love you, Emily. Bye.
Thanks, Emerson. Take care,
Thank you.
mate. See you
Thank you.
tomorrow.
Thank you.
Emerson.
Thank you. Who's that? Thank you.
Thank you. Love and peace.
Love and peace.
Thanks, Emerson.
Bye.
Thank you, Emerson.
Oh, bye. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.